I like having most of the data that I work with every day in one central location so that I can go there and I can see an overview of what's going on. It helps me prioritize tasks, helps me kind of keep things in context. And in general, I think it's a really great way to work. But one of the challenges that you've probably already experienced, like I have, is sometimes getting some of those data sources where you want them. And a great example of that is Google Analytics data. Here is an example. I've got just a simple report that runs once a day. And the result of this report is this table right here. So this sheet, automated Google Analytics report. And I'd like to get this into Airtable so I can have it in a dashboard alongside all of my other website information. And to do that, I've created this table here, which is just a simple reference to the cells in the other one, but this reference continues down. So if the number of rows in the automated report changes, that will be reflected over here in this. And now, like I said, I'd like to sync all of that to Airtable, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes with Whalesync. Now, if you don't already have a Whalesync account, you can get a 14-day free trial. You can just sign up at whalesync.com, see if it works for your use case, and see how you like it. Once you're in here, you can come up to the right and click on New Sync. It's going to open this page. Now, my data is in Google Analytics, and I want to move it to Airtable. So I'll start by connecting Google Sheets, and it's going to ask me for a Google Sheets URL. I can just get that right out of the URL bar. You don't have to worry about if it has edit or grid ID or anything like that. We can just put that right in here, paste it, click authorize. Now you're going to get the standard sort of auth and let an app access your data pop-ups. You can just click OK and allow. And then the next screen here is going to refresh, and it should show the sheet that I have, which is Google Analytics GA4 reports. And that's the name that you can see right here. So once I've done that, I'll save that connection. And then, as I mentioned, the next thing I want to connect to is Airtable. So we'll just select Airtable from the list over here. Click on authorize. Again, we'll get a pop-up. We'll select the base that we want to work at. With this case, I've just called it my Airtable base to make it easy. Oh, let me find that window. So we can select my Airtable base, grant access to that. And now there we have the base selected, so we can save that connection. So step one is done. These are the two apps that we're trying to connect and keep in sync. And we've selected what inside of those apps that we want to be, where we want to be accessing data. So we can continue to step two now. All right, so this step is adding table mappings. And what a table mapping is, in this example, we have 3 different tabs here. So we have 3 different sheets, and you can think about these as tables. So we have the report configuration, which obviously we don't want to sync. And then we have the automated one, which is going to run automatically every day and get sort of regenerated. So we don't want to mess with that one. And then we have this third one here, which is just, again, just looking at a cell reference in the second sheet. And this is the one that we want to sync. So we can come in here and we can select the Google Analytics GA4 report sync view right here. And then in Airtable, we just have sort of the default one that's created when you create a new base, but that's okay. We don't actually have to create anything there because Whalesync can do that for us. We just click new table and then create table mappings. And this is just saying it's going to create a Whalesync ID column in this report. So they have something to keep track of. So we should see that. There that is. Make that a little bit smaller. So now that that's done, we can watch it make the Airtable tables. So this should be showing up any second now. Continue. I guess let me refresh Airtable. There it is. So now we have the table created here and has one column already in it even, which is really cool. So let's delete this one. We don't need that now. And coming back over here, you can see we have basically just 2 columns that we want here, but I'm going to show you something you can do. Even if you have 20 or 100 columns, you can just click this create fields one and then choose where you want to copy it from and then select the fields. Now this one's already been added, which is why we can't grab it again. So we'll add the URL field here. And now what this is doing is it's actually going to Google Sheets. It's looking at the field, looking at the data type, and then it's coming over here and creating it. So now we have views and we have URL over here in Airtable. Now it's asking, we want to change the primary field here because the URL is actually the primary field. All right, so now we have views and we have URL, and these are mapped to each other, and we don't have to do anything else. We can just save and continue. Because there's no data, there's no other steps that really need to be done before we activate, so we can just click Activate Sync, confirm that we know what's going on here, Please read through those if you're doing something with live data like in a CRM or something. Now we just wait for Whalesync to find the changes that are over there and then push those across to Airtable. So this can take anywhere from a couple of seconds to maybe 30 seconds. So, all right, there we go. It's found some changes. It's pushed them across. So, okay, here we are. Now our data is in Airtable. Um, cool. I don't know exactly how long that took. I'll have to look at it when I'm editing this later, but it's really simple and really fast. And now anytime changes are made, they're going to push across. We can just add something custom here. And we can give it, say, 10 views. And now if we come back in here, we can see that there's two things that are pushing to Google Sheets. And if we look at Google Sheets, we should see these changes coming through. We've got part of the changes here already. There's the rest of it. And now here's the number. So that's how that works. And it's always on. So every time this report runs, this will look at the data and move it back across. So this is in Sheets. We can just edit this again just to show you that this is two ways. And we'll say it's 150 now. And then that's going to come across in just a bit. But I do want to show you, so some services use webhooks and some services do not. And for the ones that don't, sometimes the scan takes a little while. But if you're actually working on this and you want to see the results immediately, you can just click this scan now, and that'll trigger a new scan immediately so that those changes come over more quickly. Generally, it's not an issue because waiting a few minutes for stuff to come across doesn't usually slow anything down. And as we saw in the case of Airtable, because it has webhooks, the changes are almost instant. So, all right, let's see. We have an update, and we can actually view the record that was updated in here as well. So we can see it was changed from 10 to 150. It was changed from this to this. So let's check over here and see if that's it. Yep, this is in Sheets 150. So that's just a really simple, it's almost so easy that it doesn't need a video to show you how to set it up, but I wanted to just go step by step and set up a Whalesync. And now I use a variation of this for the actual analytics data for our website. I've been using it every day for a couple of months now. And it's just a really, really useful way to get that Google Analytics data into Airtable and to be able to view it right alongside of the website data. And one of the beautiful things about Whalesync is that you can actually sync all sorts of things to each other. So our Airtable is what is the backend for our Webflow site, as an example. And then also a lot of this data from the marketing analytics, I pull into Notion, which is where I sort of plan the month and do all of that there. So using Whalesync, it kind of fills in those last little gaps that without it would completely break what I'm trying to accomplish. So I really, really, really like the way that it helps me work. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions or if there are any specific syncs or use cases that you would like to see a video on, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I'll see if I can put something up. Have a great day.